All right, I'm going to start off by saying I am now 20 minutes and 43 seconds into it. I got a few things that I want to say. Um, he still keeps getting a lot of stuff wrong. There's a lot of details that are absolutely missing. I'm going to show you a police officer. Um, after after Natalie was killed, um, matter of fact, after the court date with Joseph Michael Lopez, um, I went and visited that place once before Natalie, or once before the court date and once after. There's an officer named William, and I am going to find his profile on Facebook and show it to you. The guy's name is William Barr. He married a girl here in Chapel, Nebraska named Jessica Martindale. When I was down there at McIntosh Dairy, I gave Natalie my Bible and a wooden sword. Then I called Will and I talked to him a bit about the situation. Will was a former police officer and he turned in his partner for stalking a woman. His partner got to keep his job and Will lost his job. However, while I was at McIntosh Dairy talking to him, they just were talking about on Rob's site how, how Lopez allegedly saw this post on Craigslist. Well, William Barr, Barr, is the police officer who told me that the good people. Let's see if that works. He might have me blocked now. We will find out. Anyway, William Barr is the officer who let me know that the Craigslist post was real. Now, that's something that William Barr needs to come forward about. If it's true, then that needs to come out. If it's not true, that needs to come out. If he lied to me, he needs to understand that that did affect my decisions. Now, it looks like he does have me blocked. So, I have some pictures here. I'll probably have to scroll through a bit. But I do have pictures of William Barr. Matter of fact, I have a picture of a lot of the people that are witnesses in these conversations. I got pictures of Chloe Pachovis. I got pictures of both the guys who call themselves Shadow. I got pictures of, well, Brian Townsend. I got pictures of a bunch of my predators, too. Let's see, we'll get through all those pictures of tanks and stuff. I love machinery so much. You got no idea. I actually set up a thing a while back, way before Natalie died. It was called Swords to Plowshares. I was trying to think of ways of turning weaponry, military weaponry, into civilian use. Turns out military stuff is too specialized for that. You're better off starting from scratch. There's a bunch of messages in here between me and Natalie, of course. There's some stuff that I got wrong, of course, because, well, if I get it wrong, I'm going to admit it. Fuck, this is a lot of damn scrolling. Of course, there's a lot of pictures here. Here's some stuff from Anna. She's dead now, too, by the way. And then here's that guy who was in jail with Ted Bollinger. That's Natalie's dad. Yeah, You can see how long I've been scrolling. My phone's pretty full. I guess I can show you this one. This one was May 26th, 2014. This is my friend Sarah. She's the first person that I got a hold of after Natalie disappeared. One of the first people. Sarah, I helped find her back in 2014. She was thankful and grateful and introduced me to her mother and invited me to her high school graduation. Here's a picture I drew for Natalie. I drew that before I went to Virginia. It was a gift to her for being my hero, for rescuing me from the Boulder Police Department. I am still scrolling through to try to find pictures of Officer William Barr. And I know for a fact that I have pictures of him. It's just that there are literally, just on this telephone alone, there's thousands of screenshots. Here's a video I made about Natalie's busted car. She got into 4 accidents within a 2-month period. I mean, it was definitely a screwed up situation. And 3 of those accidents happened, or no, she had 5 accidents, I'm sorry, in a 2-month period. And 3 of those accidents happened while I was there. One of them, her and her sister got sideswiped. One of them, she was in with a guy who did some pretty fucked up shit because he was fucking drunk. Brianna Merrow. All right. These 3 people in this picture. One of them is an officer who used to be a drug addict, who is friends with Miss Peaches. The other one is her sister, and I don't know who that other guy is. I assume he's a hockey player because she's really into hockey. Here's a picture of Nova Wilmuth and Jamie Curtis. Jamie Curtis is the one right there, and this one's Nova. I see Nova here from time to time. She still talks to me like I'm a human being. She didn't used to, but now she does, which that actually weirds me out. Here's a picture of Natalie and her mother. Natalie at graduation, that's the picture that I drew for her mother. Her mother chose abusive men over her own daughter. I don't have much respect for them. These people want to hide all of the terrible things that they did to Natalie. They just needed a scapegoat. And they were able to prey on the term mentally ill, pretend like I'm some sort of super stalker, serial killer, rapist. Now, one of the things that this guy was saying that does bug me, he talks about the harassment on the internet. The harassment on the internet isn't the worst part. The harassment and the assaults in real life is the major issue. If I hadn't had people harassing me, threatening me, and assaulting me in real life, Natalie and I would not have had any reason to be back in contact with one another after I left Virginia. There was no sound or intelligent reason for people to be threatening, harassing, or assaulting or stalking me. Now here's Derek A.S. This guy has over 20 profiles. Many of them he talks about children. He actually went to college for early childhood development. He also is a child molester. He also assaulted me, calling me a child molester because of all of this shit that got out of hand. And guess what he got out of that? Did he get arrested for assaulting me? No. Rose M. Kelly, a.k.a. Rose M. Self, a.k.a. Rose M. Bollinger, a.k.a. that bitch, After finding out that I was assaulted by a Derek Apodaca, who also goes by Thor and also goes by a few perverted names, type up Derek Apodaca, you'll find this guy. She decided that she wanted to be friends with my assailant. These people played non-stop fucking head games with me, but it's fine, isn't it? It's fine to do these things. I got some pictures of some Jepsons here I should be posting up, but I'm not gonna. I'm looking in specific for, oh, here's Cash. Look at this child molesting fuck. This is one of Natalie Bollinger's ex-boyfriends. I literally stood in between this guy and the people that he was trying to stab because he was fucked up on methamphetamines and pissed off that a mutual friend of mine and Natalie's mother by the name of Desiree woke him up in a fashion that he didn't like. You can Google quite a bit. There's a couple of Google bullshits that I've been looking at that have my name in them, and it's mostly bullshit. It's also still up there. Right here. He is the one that let me know about Alicia Bollinger threatening people down at the band shell with some dude. Here's Desiree. That's Des. I rescued her from a trap house in Wyoming twice since Natalie was killed. She's back in Colorado. All right. Here's a few different witnesses. Chelsea Worsing, a witness. Becky Ryder, a witness. Irie Bliss, that's Mateo Talbot's ex-girlfriend. David Sufur, he can speak about a lot of situations as far as the drugs down there in Colorado go. Aaron Mayville, right there in the center at the bottom. He's a witness to the death of Danny behind the pedestrian shop. He's not the only witness to that. There's also a guy who goes by the name of Cinderblock. There is a lot of fucking evidence in here. I mean, I am literally still scrolling, just trying to find that picture of Will. Let's see. Allison Fornander. What else? Here's another picture of Desiree. All right, here's one between me and Desiree. She's got like 8 or 9 accounts. I typed, what the Bollingers did was evil. You know Rose. Why is she so selfish? Desiree typed, I don't know, love. I don't know. You have to move forward. My why is an old friend. Well, thank you for calling me old. Move on. How many times do I have to move on? The abuse hasn't stopped. These police officers used the system in order to abuse me to cover their wrongdoing. All right. Here's more witnesses. On the far right, that's Russell Huggins. He helped me out a bit. Yes, he's on a motorcycle. Yes, I know a lot of motorcyclists. Yes, many of them offered to do evil things for me. No, I did not let them. Yes, I told them not to kill Ted Bollinger. Next to it is Brian Townsend. Now you notice that it's a white guy in the foreground and a black man in the background. That black man in the background is Brian Townsend. That white guy in the foreground is Maverick Constantine, aka Jonathan Hickson. Another one of them meth dealers in Colorado. Another one of them people who pretended he was my friend and then told me to go kill myself. Then there's Mateo Talbot. Down on the bottom, Ed Simmons. That's I got conversations with him on here. I also have conversations with Mateo Talbot on here. And I believe I might have a couple from Russell Huggins too. John Fox, he's not my friend anymore. He and I had a disagreement. When he was accused of killing somebody that he didn't kill, I was the difference between him ending up a corpse and being alive today. He is alive today because I spoke up. I told Mobley there's no reason to take him up the map for killing that woman. He was in jail 2 weeks before she was killed. Yes, Mimi Murda, it is actually live. And then Jonathan Knight. Jonathan Knight had people accusing him of the same things that people were accusing me of. But Jonathan Knight is a very big man. He's 6'3", pushing 300 pounds. Got a lot of muscle and some fat to go with it. Yeah, between punching him and punching me, people aren't likely to even look his direction for fear that he'll knock them out on accident. I'm still trying to find the picture of William Barr, though. That's pretty important just for the fact that I want you guys to know what this officer looks like. Former officer. Y'all say that I shouldn't have been involved. You're right. And none of these other people should have been involved. I never should have had to ask these people for help. I should have been able to tell Natalie what was going on, have her ask these people to stop, and have that be the end of it. When that didn't work, I should have been able to go to my friends and get some help going to the police, because I already knew how difficult it is for a homeless male to get the police to do their goddamn job. And for me, being back and forth between Nebraska for my therapy appointments and Colorado so that I could be closer to my loved ones, I mean, that's fucking expensive. See, these are between me and Rihanna up there in Washington State. Here's a bunch of people that are threatening me. See, there's Ashley the asshat. Is this it? No, that's Melissa Derry. I had a really big crush on her in high school. Of course, the only person in my entire life I would actually say that I would ever consider stalking, that would have been Jamie, back when she was telling me how horrible James was and that she was afraid for herself and her son. She told me that she would feel safer if I was stalking her. But did I stalk her? I probably should have. Just for more information after all this shit went down. Of course, hindsight is 20/20, ain't it? Let's see. There's a picture of that Epstein feller. Let's see, stuff with Dallas. Here's Selena Not Afraid's brother. He was shot to death by police. More missing people. I'm sorry, folks. There's just a lot to go through. I would have liked to go through it all and set it all up and have it all ready for you and just give it to you that way. I wish it was just that easy. It's not, though. There's 2 black men that were murdered by police. There's a missing Native American woman. There's Bobby Forrest. No, it's not my armpits. Thought I smelled marijuana for a second. Ah, here's Joanna Taylor Smith. Now, why is it that she had difficulties understanding? I want you to look at her. I want you to take a good, solid look at her. This is a pretty white girl who grew up with a decent family in Nederland, Colorado. Obviously, she's not black. Obviously, she's not a male. Obviously, she's not homeless. Obviously, she gets treated better than most people because of her looks. She's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white girl. Is she literally a girl? No, she's a fucking grown-ass adult, just like Natalie. All right, I've scrolled through so many of these that it is now taking a while to load them up. What a pain in the ass. Oh, a whole bunch of pulse jets. Those things are so cool. Let's see, there's Peter Payton. There's Doug. Doug helped me out after Natalie was killed, too. He helped me because of the Jepsons. No, me and the Jepsons aren't necessarily getting along, but that doesn't mean I don't love them, and that doesn't mean that they're any less human beings. The difference between me and all of these people is that if they were going through this, I would have actually helped. I wouldn't wait until 2 years after the fact to throw a fucking tantrum. You said something I didn't like. Bitch, you should have come forward. Instead of ignoring it until your family decided to do fucked up shit, and then because they're family, you're on their side. Well, that just makes you a bitch. Now, most of the Jepsons can beat me up, and I do mean that. Not just because I'm gimpy. I mean, most of them could beat me up before I hurt my back. Jace is no different. He could probably beat me piss limber in about 10 seconds flat. However, that's not going to stop me from calling him a bitch here on YouTube. Because he didn't speak up. Why is he a bitch and I'm not? I'm not afraid of the ass whooping. I'll take it. Shit, with all the crimes that I committed to try to get somebody to look at the fucking case. Yes, I am willing to spend that time in jail or prison for committing the crimes that I was forced to commit. However, there are terms to that. I'm after the actual predators. The actual predators. You know what actual means, right? Oh, here's one. This is J.C. Otska. He's one of the people that's in the stories about Jamie. She wants to talk about how terrible this guy was. You know, he was good to her every time that I ever saw. All of these guys were good to her. Here's Michael Vernon. He's a part of the story as far as Lana Engeline and Amanda Engeline are concerned, as well as Jerry Sparks and her kids. Let's see. This is Eileen. She is one of the people that decided that she was going to attack me over situations she wasn't there for. She wanted to slander my name, talk some shit, and make me out to be a bad guy. She'd kiss my ass. Ah, here's Tyler Frericks. Isn't he cute? I helped to raise these fucking kids. Miss Jerry will admit it. Let's see, there's some more threats. Ah, here's a picture of Mackenzie Chapman. This is the ex-girlfriend of Maddie Boa, who ditched Maddie right before I went to Virginia. Why did she ditch Maddie? Because she had a kid and Maddie wouldn't stay off the fucking drugs. Let's see. Here's some child molesters. Some more assholes. I still have not found that picture of Will. Ah, here's a picture of Crystal Beauchamp that was taken from Rick Sanchez, aka Dirty Sanchez Quagmire. You know who this is? That's Derek Apodaca again. Here's a picture of Ted Bollinger. People wanted to accuse me of destroying his business because he had to take down his logo in front of CU. You know, that happened years before Natalie was killed. So obviously that cannot be my fault. But as long as you fuck up the timeline and mix and match and put pieces where you want them, you can twist it to be whatewver the fuck you want. Like, I was threatened hundreds of times before I threatened anyone back. But then when I threaten them back, they say, oh, well, we did all these things because Sean was threatening us. Really? How could you do something to me for something that I haven't even done yet as your excuse for doing it? That doesn't make any goddamn sense. Here's Dalton Crawford, the little bitch boy. Come and get me, Dalton. Let's see, that's Victoria. Those are more missing people. Samantha Danielle, that's a lady who used to give Alicia and Natalie rides. You know, I just spent about 20 minutes. Oh, here's the bus driver that wanted to be an asshole. Fuck this dude. You can lick a dick, motherfucker. I don't care what color you are. There is no excuse for treating a human being in the way that you treated me. I'm seriously going through them. Thousands upon thousands. By preventing me from going to court, preventing me from showing evidence, the police were covering their own asses. That's what they were after. They weren't after protecting the Bollingers for the wrongdoings of the Bollingers. They were too busy trying to cover their own asses. Now, between covering your own ass and investigating the wrongdoings against the person who you did wrong, yeah, you're not likely to do your fucking job. Several officers had things to say about that. Oh, here's the Martindale clan. I'll show you all of them. This is just the girls. On this side, we'll start on this side and work our way over. First, there's Pamela Martindale, and she's the mother. And then the next one in is Lori Burles. That's God, their faces won't friggin' there it goes. The next one in is Lori Burles. And then after Lori Burles, it's Jackie Martindale, and then Justine Martindale, and then Jessica Martindale. That picture isn't coming out so good, though. So here's one with Pam Martindale, Lori Burles, Rick Martindale, Justine Martindale, and Jessica Martindale. Here's one of Justine and Jackie in cowboy hats. They're very pretty. Explaining anything to them is like talking to a brick wall. Explaining real life struggles to pretty people who don't know those struggles, they think that their struggles are worse than everyone else's. Oh my God, I found it. Finally. This is Officer William Barr. That's his wife, Jessica Barr, who is also a police officer, or at least was last I knew. He is no longer a police officer, but he is the one who verified that the Craigslist ad from Natalie Bollinger was real. By that time, he was working as a technical assistant for the police department because he'd already been fired for turning in a bad officer. Here's another picture of Officer Will in his Bronco colors. Ashley Coffee, they want to hold your message for review. I accepted it. Well, it only took, what, 30 minutes for me to find that fucking picture? Now, here's Brian Townsend. I guess none of these are really high quality pictures, are they? Not exactly helpful nor useful. See, there's one of... Ah, this is two people from my stories. The darker man is Todd Ryan Case. The man whose head is all hopped up in gear, goggles, carrying a dog. That's Mobley, a.k.a. Stephen McMillian. This is Jeffrey Witcher and his daughter Jennifer. They are both at least 18 years of age. It is Jeff Witcher's son, Andrew Witcher, who is the child molester. This guy right here, Jeff Witcher, he had sex with my mom while she was still married to Scott. Mind you, my mom had sex with my friends in high school too. So I already knew she was a hoe. I knew she was a hoe before I knew she had sex with my friends in high school. How did I know she was a hoe before I knew she had sex with my friends in high school? Well, my first week here in Chapel, Nebraska, I had people telling me how much fun my mom was in high school. And they continue to do so to this very day. Now here's one of the videos that I made when Alicia Bollinger disappeared. Try to help find her. Just like I did when Natalie disappeared. I don't give a fuck about the law. The law says it's not okay. I don't give a fuck. If it's okay for you but not okay for me, then the law doesn't count. If these people are held accountable for the crimes that they committed against me, then we got a different fucking story. I wouldn't have had to do any of the illegal bullshit that I did if I'd have been able to get one good goddamn cop to do their fucking job. Brent Jepson. I love him. I really do. Let's see. There's 6 or 7 of these videos from Alicia disappearing. Well, people were getting a hold of me, accusing me of killing her and telling me they're going to kill me and kill my family. Same thing they did when Selena Not Afraid disappeared. People wanted to come after me. Pretend like I'm some sort of a terrible fucking monster because I was never allowed to defend myself against any of the slander by the media or by the police or by the Bollingers. The only people who got actually heard were my predators. They were all rewarded for victimizing me. All of them not only got away scot-free with what they did, but they were paid. They were monetarily compensated for it. And yes, I can prove that as well. I've posted up so much evidence on here already. You notice there's about 2,000 videos at this point. Some of those videos show the heroin addicts that I had to try to trust because I couldn't get the police to do their goddamn jobs. This picture right here, people wanted to treat me like shit for having it on Facebook. You know who took that picture? I took that goddamn picture. That was the first night that I found out that Shelly existed. Or the first night that I ever heard Shelly's voice, because we were in the vehicle, me, Natalie, and Alicia, and they were trying to get her to come up and live there so that she could be safely away from Ted, so that her children would be safely away from Ted. That was what the entire conversation was about. There's food in that picture. Chinese food from when we stopped at the Chinese place on the way. And whose idea was it to go to the pagoda? This is while I was supposedly stalking them in Virginia. Whose idea was it to go to the pagoda? It wasn't mine. I didn't know the goddamn thing existed. Just like I didn't know that Elliot's Coffee Grounds existed. Do you know why I found out those places existed? Because Natalie and Alicia invited me. How did I find out that the Cricket store and the Starbucks where Alicia's boyfriend worked at the time, 2 doors down, how did I find out that those were there? Alicia asked me to move there behind her work. Not Natalie's work. Natalie didn't work there. Alicia specifically asked me to go there, told me about the Starbucks just 2 doors down and the fact that her boyfriend worked there. Does that sound like stalking to you? No, because it's not fucking stalking. When somebody invites you, you don't get to say, hey, will you come to my wedding? And then when you get to their wedding, hey, remove that guy. He was told not to be here. Except it wasn't even like that. It was like, all right, I'm going to invite you to my wedding. I'm going to invite you to eat my food. I'm going to invite you to sit in the front row. And then I am going to have everyone that I know treat you like shit because I'm going to say that you just came in and ate my food and not explain that I invited you to do so. I'm going to complain that you sat in the front row, but I'm not going to explain that I asked you to do so. I'm going to complain that you were at my wedding, but I'm not going to explain that I asked you to do so. By the way, my phone's almost dead, so I got to plug it back in. But I mean, there's a lot of evidence in these thousands of videos right here on this very YouTube. There's evidence of my hospital visit to Chesapeake, Virginia. Shows that I was dehydrated. There's messages between me and Joanna Taylor Smith, and me and a lot of my other predators, too. Ah, here's another predator for you. Theodore R. Ferguson calls himself Shadow. I call him Crapper the Rapper. This guy likes to beat on women and choke them out in a public park, and nobody does a goddamn thing. Nobody except for me. People came up to Starbucks to tell me that this man was beating on Shay because they were too big of bitches to do anything about it. Some of these dudes came up to talk to me were twice my size, and they came to me to take care of what? This grown-ass man beating on his woman. On his woman. His woman. Basically, she was just property to him. Meanwhile, he fucked around with her a lot. Or on her a lot. And I got pictures of the people that he was fucking around with her on, too. Imagine that. This is Rihanna Ingersoll. It's kind of fuzzy. And that's actually the worst picture I've ever seen of her. She's a lot better looking in real life. Not that that's important, but to most of you, it actually is. Looks mean more than anything. Here's from when Mobley got stabbed in the chest. This is from Allison. I typed, I never did you wrong, ever. She typed, of course not, Sean, I adore you. But the thing is, none of these people were heard. Most of them didn't even try to speak up. You don't get to destroy somebody's life like this and then expect them to just lay down and take it, especially when the repercussions continue. I will have to deal with this for the rest of my life. That's not my choice, just a fact. Now, although I wasn't allowed to show any evidence from any jurisdiction in any court date, slander was allowed in all of my court dates. All of them. And I wasn't allowed to defend myself against any of it. They outright refused to allow me to show evidence. While all these people got to slander me in court to try to hide their wrongdoing. Meanwhile, most of the evidence still exists. I just need somebody to actually speak out and fight for my goddamn rights. The term mentally ill prevents me from doing it for myself. It prevents any of these people from taking me seriously. Let's go through and read some of these comments because I haven't been ignoring them on purpose. Sean, can I give you my email? I would like to try to help in any way I can, or just be an ear and positive support for you. You need positive people in your corner. You're absolutely right. I'm going to type. This is my email address. doggedroman@gmail.com. You can get a hold of me there. Space Duck type justice for Sean. Ashley Coffee type justice for Sean. Thank you. It's not just justice for me though. I got to tell you, it's not just justice for me. It's justice for everybody who's been victimized over this. It's justice for all of us. It's our rights that I'm fighting for. I'm willing to sit the rest of my life in prison for these rights, for you to have these rights. Because obviously, if I'm going to be sitting in prison for the rest of my life, I'm not going to have any of those rights. But you might. The police needed to take this much more seriously than they did. This is only about a week old, but it hasn't changed color yet, so it should be all right. This is justice for Natalie, and for Natalie's family, and for my loved ones. You want rights for black people because you're black? You want rights for women because you're a woman? You want rights for immigrants because you're an immigrant? You fight for the homeless rights. They comprise people from all of your groups, and they get more shit than all of your groups put together. It says, I'm really glad Rob did a piece on this case. I'm hoping that will push for change for Sean in a good way. Gingerton type. Sorry this happened to Natalie and you, Sean. Thank you, Ginge. I hope your life gets better, bro. Ashley Coffee type. My ear absolutely aches. It kills me. Has been failed time and time again. Mega Raywin typed, I'm disappointed in the police and their conduct, but I'm not surprised. To protect and serve means nothing. You're right. You're absolutely right. Morton Jensen typed, justice for Sean. Thank you. Ashley Coffee typed, I totally agree, Mega. It's sad. To protect and serve their ego is more like it, not John Q. Public. They just want John Q. Public's money. I can relate to the full phone situation. Oh my God, that is amazing. Bet we could Google that, Sean. Damn, that's a lot in a little amount of time. Oh my God. There's a fucking shit ton to go. I live in Colorado, and there are too many police who behave like it's still the Wild West and are good old boys cowboys. This goes to regular civilians too. And he's absolutely right. I mean, regular civilians are fucking shat on by Colorado cops too. But the amount that they shit on you is based entirely upon your income and your looks. If you look homeless, you're number one on their list. A lot of people complain that they can't walk down a street in their neighborhood as black people without people calling the cops on them because they're black. Homeless people go through the same thing. If you want to have rights, you have to fight for our rights, not just yours. Only women have these problems. Only black people have these problems. Only immigrants have these problems. Bullshit. We all got these problems. We got a corrupt government. We got a bunch of laws that are designed to allow police officers to get away with doing whatever they want to the poor. Police officers are taught which people they can victimize and which ones they can't. They are taught this. They are also taught subterfuge techniques, such as when they're assaulting someone, claiming that that person is resisting arrest. And they say, stop resisting, stop resisting. Meanwhile, they're trying to break your arm and you are reacting to this. You're in fight or flight because you're in extreme pain. And John Q. Public walks right on by and goes, oh, that guy must be resisting. They also learn how to assault you, doing things like the push me, pull you, where an officer pulls you on one side and the other officer pretends you're trying to get away. So he yanks you on the other side and slams you down to the floor. Fucking jackasses. Mimi Murda typed, is this actually live? Ashley Coffee typed, I can relate to that also. My mom did the same while my sister and I were growing up. I'm assuming that's when I was talking about cutting. Same here in Ohio, Mega. It's disturbing. Mimi, I believe it sure is. Mimi Murda. Oh, okay. I just finished Rob's video. Saw you were pinned at the top of his comment section. I'm sorry that you went through all of that. Such a sad story. Ashley typed, I agree, Mimi. It's insane. I'm so glad Rob did this story. Hopefully this exposure will help Sean. I hope so too. Space Duck, are you safe though? Is there anything we could help with? Um, you can speak out everywhere. Speak out on Facebook. Speak out on YouTube. Speak out publicly. Go through my YouTube videos. There's thousands of them. Send in the stuff that they won't listen to if I send it in. If you guys are better with computers, I'm not. I mean, if you notice, I don't have any of them special fancy features on any of my videos because I don't know how to do them. All this stuff is stuff that I need help with in person that I don't have help with in person. There's also the sheer amount of money that I owe. I know I don't expect you guys to pay that. I need to be able to save up my money to defend myself, to have my own place where I am safe, where I get to make the rules. Or if one of my friends is going through hell, instead of Anna dying in Arizona under circumstances that she was probably murdered. And the Jepson family seems to think that Rory was murdered. I couldn't do anything. Not after what happened to Natalie, having all my resources taken. I saved a lot of people. I went from one end of this country to the other, saving lives before Natalie was killed and after. Helping people in ways that they're not getting that help. Where you're giving empty promises, or you need to do this, or you need to do that. Get the word out, speak out. Mimi Murda typed, I had no idea of the story until today. Been doing some research myself. Even saw her twin went missing for a while as well. A lot of sad and unfortunate things within that family. Yeah, well, they're fucking druggies and child molesters. What do you expect? Much like mine. And I got a little brother who fucking molested his own kid. I got two uncles that molested my aunt. I got a grandpa who molested my mom. What did my mom do? Protected the child molesters. Although between her and my Uncle Greg, they were able to extort over $200,000 from my grandpa because he molested my mom. You either give me this money or I'm going to tell the whole world. Well, you know what? I told the whole world anyway. I told the whole world while my grandpa was still breathing. Especially with how the public went after Sean, continues to go after me. You can still see that in a lot of my videos. A lot of these people, I learned how to block them, thank goodness. Mega Raywin, Mimi, mob mentality is an unfortunate thing, isn't it? You're absolutely right. And I've been talking about that since before Natalie died. Space Duck typed, yeah, it's unfortunate. Maybe typed, yeah, it happens far too often. And that's exactly my point. I have hundreds of other people's stories too, saved in my phone, in my computer. Hundreds of other people's stories of the same bullshit, just none of them to this degree. Good Spirits typed, I don't trust anyone anymore from what happened to me when I was in foster care. No one listened and no one cared. I thought about suicide, but I'm not going to give them the satisfaction. Ashley typed, Good Spirits, I can empathize with that feeling. So glad you decided not to give the asshole satisfaction. Hugs to you. Absolutely. Misa Kaijun, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, and I do apologize again. It says, all cops are crooked as far as I'm concerned. Don't at me. Don't worry, I won't. Ashley Coffee, type Misa, I agree. In my sights 3, type Misa, I feel the same. Ashley Coffee, type, was he a cop in Virginia? I wonder what part that was at. Because some of these cops were in Virginia. I don't know any of their names. Some of these cops were in Boulder, and I know a few of their names. Some of these cops were across Colorado, and I know a few of their names. Some of them whose names I don't have remembered, I'm lucky I was able to write them down. A lot of the cops here in Nebraska, shit, they've had a revolving door policy pretty much since Taco left office. They can't keep cops here. Of course, these aren't actual cops. They come here because they want to get paid but don't want to do nothing. Misa type, my father was put away for 8 years for a crime he didn't commit. And when the victim admitted on Facebook that she lied about the entire thing, he still served time and his life was destroyed. Exactly my point. But at least 8 years in prison, it's absolute. It's not them sending you in for a 3-day hold so that they can discredit you and then throw you back out on the streets to be victimized some more. I told Miss Peaches I'd rather be in prison. Help me clear my name or fucking kill me. Or lock me up. Misa typed, the justice system is a myth. There is no justice. That's absolutely true. Ashley typed, hugs to you and your family, Misa. True story. And she gave a big ass heart with a cross in the middle to Ashley. Thank you. Not surprised. Oh wow, that scrolled down a whole bunch. Indeed, my good sir. Ashley typed, no worries. It's good to just talk it out honestly. Absolutely. I'll email you directly if you don't mind. You're good, Ashley. I sent you my email so that you can do that. Carrie Zombie typed, I hope your story gets out there and people will see that you were a good man. I hope so, but I've had to do a lot of fucked up shit in the last 3 years. And, well, that's been used to try to pretend that I'm not a good man. Yes, Carrie, that's what Ashley typed. I live in Pennsylvania and you look completely normal to me. Well, that's a dirty word, but thank you, I suppose. You didn't mean it as an insult. Thank you, Ashley. The message below is held for review. Ashley Coffee typed, it pisses me off you have had to resort to that shit in order to get the point across and be heard. I don't think there's anything wrong with showing that, so that's what I'm doing. Most welcome, Carrie. Kool-Aid Jimmy typed, is this tied in with that Selena girl? What's up with that? Well, they found Selena's body. She died of exposure. That's murder in my book. She was murdered by exposure. Same as most of my homeless homies. Murder by exposure. You make it illegal for them to use a blanket. You don't have enough homeless shelters, so they fucking freeze to death. If they use a blanket, you give them charges for using the blanket at night. 20 hours of community service, around $200 all said and done once all the court bullshit's done with. And then, in addition, if you're on public property, you get trespassing on public property. Another 40 hours of community service and around $400 in fines. So you're looking at around $600 and 60 hours of community service. That's about 3 weeks out of your month that you're going to be working for someone else because you got busted sleeping for one fucking night. Also, BOHO is closed. That's Boulder Outreach for the Homeless Overflow, because there's not enough beds in Boulder in the homeless shelter. There's almost 4,000 homeless people in Boulder County. There's less than 200 beds. And of those less than 200 beds, over 70 of them are for transitional housing. Let's see. Highlands Ranch. I've been to Highlands Ranch. My friend Bo Prince used to live there. Matter of fact, I Walked from one side of Denver to the other to go see him at his request. Yeah, took about 8 hours, but I did it. Didn't have a functional vehicle. But my friends are worth it. They're worth me going from one end of the United States to the other to rescue their ass, but I'm not even worth speaking up for. On the bright side, many of the people who should have spoken up at the start, well, I recorded their conversations and they're on here. Mandy Hughes, Alyssa Rainwater, Mandy Singer, Miss Peaches, aka Kayla Trujillo. I even got conversations with Leah Plunkett's ex-husband about some of the deaths and the murders in Boulder. And I recorded that. Yeah, he might come have me put in the ground for recording that conversation. That conversation might also help him to get his son back. If you live in Highlands Ranch, cops love you and will kiss your ass. You live in Aurora, you had a weapon. Welcome to the justice system. You're absolutely right, Meg. Ashley Coffee typed, I'm going to also let's see, my name is Zombie, so normal is a relative term. I'm going to also Ashley, LOL, I love him. Ashley typed, I've been binging on your videos. It's hopping back and forth on me right now because it can't decide which one was posted first. Normal is not my bag. It's not my bag, baby. Right? Carrie Zombie. Sean, you're worth way more than you give yourself credit for. Well, I give myself quite a bit of credit, actually. That's why I keep fighting. I am worth it. And so are you. So are your kids. I don't want this shit happening to you. I don't want it happening to your kids. We need to put a stop to it now instead of saying, oh, well, it's too late for me. All I can do is teach my kids different. In order to teach your kids different, you have to show them different. Not say different things, but show them different actions. Like trying to make effective change. The largest cross-section of the American public is what? Parents. There are more parents than there are white people. Congratulations. Parents, if they work together, can change a lot of laws. Of course, they can fuck over a lot of people that don't have kids, too. Let's see, Ashley type, I'm about to start a damn coalition or something to get this shit out there. I hope so. I really do. Anyway, y'all be safe. I'm going to finish my tobacco here. I still got a little bit of money. I'm going to go get something to drink because it's hot as fuck and I'm sweating like a motherfucker. If you guys don't like my cursing, that's fine. I want you to know that it's illegal to curse here in Nebraska in front of women and children. If you are in Nebraska and you are watching this video, that doesn't count. You chose to watch this video. Also, there are no women or children around me. The cops didn't give a fuck about the abuse that I've endured, but they'll come harass me because I fucking cursed. Imagine that. Were you cursing? Shit, bitch, I'll curse at you. You got a fucking badge? You're goddamn right I will. I'll give you the finger, too. Did you know that it's not illegal to give a police officer the finger? Now, here's another one. I haven't even read it, but it's from Ashley, so I'm going to assume. You be safe, too, Carrie. Ashley, he's been dealt a shitty hand all the way around and hasn't had a fucking chance. You're right. And a lot of these people that wanted to help me didn't understand the situation, and a lot of them, their addictions got in the way. Those aren't my decisions. It's just part of that shitty hand. And it doesn't mean that these are bad people. Most of these are good people. Ashley, thank you for posting up your email address. I'll send something to it. If you want me to allow it to be shown, you have to say something. Give me permission to put it up there if you're trying to give it to Ashley, or if you're trying to give it to Carrie, if that's what you're trying to do. The thing is, I'm still trying. I'm still trying to show the truth. That's the most important part. But the thing is that these officers have manipulated, twisted, and contorted it completely to the point where there's no chance in hell of me getting an honest court date. They can use the court dates that they pulled illegal bullshit in and illegally prevented me from filing reports about. All right, Ashley. Anyway, I'm going to get off of here. I got about another minute and 10 seconds worth of Rob's video to watch. And I suppose I'll make another video after that. The thing is, the cops didn't bother with talking to any of the witnesses, not even one of them. Not until just recently, after they had already gotten what they wanted. When I tried to turn in their officers, they did what they continue to do repeatedly. You try to turn in an officer, they lock you up and have you injected with drugs. Should those doctors be injecting you with drugs based on the word of the police officer? Absolutely not. That cop is not a goddamn doctor. Should the doctors listen to the cops or should they listen to the patients? If you want to know what it's like for somebody in a wheelchair, are you going to ask a doctor or are you going to ask somebody in a wheelchair?